Ma'am, I'll start.
Yes, please start. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so very good afternoon. Very good evening to everyone. I, Vinita, welcome you to another Sustain Talks by Sustain and Save. Sustain and Save is a one stop solution on sustainability created by the Indians for the world. We at Sustain and Save believe in creating a corporate impact by bridging the gap and connecting the green products and green services in India across the world. We believe to move towards the reverse logistics, focusing on waste to be used in a better way. Our knowledge and resource inspiration, which focuses on the social impact, includes various sustainable initiatives and inspiring stories. Using our three R principles of re-innovate, redefine, and being responsible, we aim to achieve an affordable sustainability and circular economy. Started on the 22nd April 2020, this Earth Day by the Shroff sisters, Pranati and Ankita, who are both entrepreneurs and completed their diploma from the Swedish Institute in the Responsible Leadership and Sustainable Businesses. Today, we have a team of 400 plus young change makers from across India, Singapore, UK, and the United States of America. In the last 6 months, we have collaborated with companies and government organizations through various e-panel discussions and awareness programs. Collaborated with companies like IKEA, Swedish government, CII IGBC, and on board about 50 companies in sustainability as a channel partners and 5 plus educational institutions. In the month of June and July, we focused on green products and services respectively. In August, we had ideators like Rajiv Kher for sanitation and Shubhendu Sharma for urban forests. The month of September was dedicated in understanding water management and the upcoming innovative solutions to address the same. In October, we teamed up with Rule for a design challenge to upscale the Tetra Packs to innovative products. November, the plastic-free month, we collaborated with the Sweden alumni, Rudra and Swatch, FICCI and many housing societies in Pune for a plastic-free challenge and a plastic collection drive. Now, in this month of December, we are focusing on sustainable fashion. That's it. Over to you, Pranjal.
Thank you, Vinita. So today, to shed some light on the topic of sustainable fashion, we have with us two very special guests who have sparked a movement with their sustainable approach in fashion designing. Pomegranate is an ethical fashion brand which works to revive the life of fabric and add worth and value to what is considered waste to create comfortable clothing that are equal parts of fun and function. Today, they are creating beautiful garments that are multifunctional and can be worn in more than one way. Plus, they upcycle fabric and design garments to produce little or no wastage in process. Their aim is to create a brand that grows ethically. Welcome on board, Madhulikha ma'am and Aishwarya ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, starting with our interview, the first question is, since sustainability is not just a methodology or a process we follow, but a culture in itself, and also the way ahead to the future, I would like to ask you what motivated your brand towards sustainable fashion? Why is sustainability important for you?
I think to begin with, like you said, it is a way of life. It is not, just one aspect of our life. And I think more and more we as entrepreneurs are becoming aware of it every day. We see the effects of climate change all around us. And being someone who creates, I think it is the ownership of making sure that we are doing what is good for the planet. The ownership of that creativity lies on each one of us. So I think that is one of our main, motivation to, ensure that whatever we create does not harm the planet in any way. And to be honest, we are still learning. So I don't think there is a set pattern, and it's not like we are the experts in the matter, but we are, as entrepreneurs, we are eager to learn. We want to make sure that whatever that we do is from, if I compare what we do today to tomorrow, we want to make sure that we've actually learned something and implemented something, and we are maybe a bit more eco-friendly, a bit more sustainable. We are able to contribute to the betterment of the planet a little bit more tomorrow than we are doing today. So I think that's kind of our driving force right now.
Oh, great. So, can you please tell us how Pomegranate is a sustainable fashion brand? What are the key things that make your brand sustainable?
So key areas that we focused on when we started the brand was making sure that all the areas that we look at is sustainable or creates less harm, creates less wastage as possible. So if we look at all the different areas that we work in the supply chain, we make sure that we source only natural fabrics. But more than that, we connect with all our network partners, the networks that we've created during the course of the business. We connect with them. We sort of collect whatever waste fabric, you could say, whatever surplus resources they have with them. So we collect that, and that's what we use primarily to upcycle into our products. So that's the supply chain part. When we look at the production or the design part, let me look at the design part first. All the designs that we make sure that we create it in such a way that it's not just wear and throw. It's something that you can wear for a really long time, in the sense that they're adaptable, they're adjustable. It can be sort of you can decide how you want to wear it, you know. So it's not just one way, that it's supposed to be this and that's it. And then in the production, obviously, we work with like a fair trade unit that employs 90% of women. So that again is just, if you just look at the, sort of impact that women can create in this field also, I think is a huge, sort of important factor to consider. So that's our production part. And even when we look at our sort of shipping and logistics, we use only biodegradable material, and we don't use any plastic. And that is, but definitely it's been a challenge for us to sort of explore different areas and try to find solutions for these, because there are a lot of limitations when it comes to like you don't, it's out of your hands at the end of the day. It's someone else who's handling your product, so there's only a certain amount that you can do. But yes, you do, there are ways that you can take care of those factors as well. We also have to consider what happens to the product after you sell it, right? After it goes into the customer's hand, what happens to the product? Our responsibility doesn't essentially end, as soon as it sort of is sold. It's about what happens to the product. How do we communicate to the customer about how can you use it in such a way that it doesn't affect the planet more than it needs to? It could be as simple as how often do you wash the garment? It could be what do you do with it if you get bored of it, right? So we have programs such as we have a system where they can give it back to us, and we sort of reuse that in whatever way we can sort of think of. We have recently started a project where we can actually take back whatever fabrics you have lying around. If you have any saris, dupattas, old fabrics, so that can be recycled as well. So these are just different ways where we sort of approach sustainability, you could say. Sorry for the long answer.
Thank you. So, why did you choose fashion as your medium of social change? What do you enjoy the most about the work that you do?
I think for us, it actually happened the other way around. We chose fashion, and then where we kind of figured out, or there was this alarming figure saying that fast fashion is the second largest contributor to pollution. And I think that kind of hit us really hard, and we wanted to make sure that we do not give up our passion, but at the same time, we do not harm the planet. So we wanted to make sure that whatever we create has that kind of positive impact. So I think the social change purely came from a place of need. It wasn't just that we saw it and we thought we could make a change. I think by the time, I think when we started, which was like 4.5, 5 years ago, the effects of fast fashion was already visible. So there is a need for change. There was already a need for change. So I think it was just the right time for us when we were starting out to actually start in the right direction. So as like small brands like ours, I think are now on the right path where there are a lot more sustainable brands kind of coming up. So I think it is more the need of the hour than something that we kind of initiated. So we, I think, only saw the need and said, okay, that's what it is, and this is what we have to do. It is just the right thing to do, I think.
Okay, lovely. So, how do you communicate sustainability to consumers? Do you think that people's values regarding sustainability have changed in recent years?
So definitely, I think back when we started in 2016, it wasn't as important a topic that people used to talk about. It was just there were a handful of brands, let me say, when we started, right? And most of our interactions, whenever we used to have events, we used to have a lot of face-to-face conversations with consumers. It was mostly, some of them would ask the question about what do you mean by you're a sustainable clothing brand? What do you mean you're ethical? So all the terminologies, what do they stand for? So that was an important conversation we used to have with a lot of customers face to face. That, and especially that was through different, sort of target events that we used to go through. Again, our Instagram page is a huge, sort of valuable resource as well, particularly during the lockdown when everything was sort of shut. We used that time to actually spark a conversation again with and a way to sort of engage with our consumers to see what are their viewpoints, what do they know about upcycling and sustainable fashion, and how can we sort of learn from each other. We try to do a couple of series of events, something that we could sort of inspire people to approach different areas of sustainability in their own lives. So just small things that we try to do to just make it more easy to adopt also.
So, then as a consumer, what are the easiest ways that we can all be more sustainable in our approach to fashion? Also, there is a taboo around repeating outfits. So, how do you think that can be changed?
I think as a consumer, I can talk about it also from the consumer's perspective because we ourselves are consumers. And I think the change that we have made, first thing is, is whatever we are buying, is it made of like natural material? Is it made of sustainable material? If there is, elastic or plastic in it, that is going to, create harm. If not today, it's going to do that tomorrow. So can I not contribute to that in the first place by not buying it? So I think keeping the focus on buying natural materials, I think that is a huge step. I think just that thinking about that one thing, I think can definitely create a huge change in how all of us shop. I think it automatically makes everybody a lot more conscious. And the whole idea of repeating outfits, I think there are two ways to look at it. One, if I were to talk as a creator, I don't think any of us create anything for it to be used once. All of us create for things to last long. We want things to be somewhere, create a story. And I think if you look at our parents and how the older generations were, you would probably see a picture with somebody wearing it and you see somebody wearing the same sari like 10 years later. There is a story to, the clothing. It is not just about wearing it once and then seeing it in a picture later, but I think it's about, attaching emotions, attaching memorable things to fabric. And I think that is a really, a good thing that we had, which I think nowadays maybe we've lost it a little bit. And if I were to again think about the amount of money that I'm spending in just fast fashion, if I were to buy something just because it's on sale or just because it's cheap, right, I can at the max get like two or three good uses for it, and then I'm going to chuck it out. But yes, it might still kind of benefit the not having to repeat the outfit part of it, but then the cost that you're actually incurring by just repeatedly buying is much higher compared to you investing in something that is actually made well, made ethically, because you can actually get the best out of it. You style it in multiple different ways. You have the freedom to kind of shape your personality and shape how you are perceived as a person with just clothing. And I think that is a very enjoyable experience that a lot of people are, I think, now getting back into it. You see a lot of celebrities talking about re-wearing outfits and ideas like that. So I think that it's good that it's slowly coming back. So we're hoping that it really takes off.
So then, but according to you, do you think there should be a change in the fashion industry? And like what changes are required in it?
Definitely. So I think there's a lot of things that need to sort of fix itself, right? When you look at the fashion industry and when you look at the statistics, they say that it's the second most polluting in the world. And then you think about it, it's just something that you wear and you throw. I mean, when you think about it, it's not, it's not like the airline industry, or it's not cars on the road. It's what you wear. So when you think about it, it's a little embarrassing because
Yeah.
it's for your vanity at the end of the day, right? What you wear does not need to come at the cost of like other species or other wildlife and other sort of just other factors. So that is something I think that was what affected us also to a large extent. How can you sort of think about it only as because it's just something that's not really it can be avoided actually. And so that's something that definitely we look at it every day. We think about how can we sort of improve our processes to sort of equalize or sort of minimize the effect.
So going forward, where do you see Pomegranate in the next 5 years?
I think, to be honest, I think we want to make sure that we continue to grow in a way where we are learning from what we are doing in the process. We're learning from what's happening in the industry. We're learning from our customers, and it is a a journey of growth is what we see for ourselves. It is not a milestone but a journey, and I think that's what is important to us, and we want to make sure that we keep the focus on making the journey, and I guess taking all our customers along with us in the journey. And as a business, what we've done is to kind of play in the cusp where we are priced higher than a fast fashion brand but priced lower than most slow fashion brands, in a way where we are trying to help our customers make that shift to move towards slow fashion. And I think that if that is step one, then how can we kind of take them further with us, where overall as a community we are all moving more and more towards a sustainable I guess choice in life, or sustainable choice in just what we're wearing also.
So can you give us a small message to all the change makers who are watching uh, and who would want to contribute in this field? How should they go about with it? And you know, just
So trick that helped me initially was obviously anytime I felt the urge to shop for something, I would think, okay, how many ways can I wear this product? If I'm looking at buying a top, for instance, can like what all can I wear it with? How easy is it to integrate into my daily life? If it's something that I can only wear once, maybe to a party, you don't really need it maybe. So that's something that helped me in the initial parts, and then after which it sort of just it becomes like a creative exercise every day. When you want to get up in the morning, you want to get dressed, you're like, okay, what, it just becomes like a fun thing what you start pairing with each other. And that just it's something that you can sort of take on as a challenge every day, right? I mean, you have all these challenges that are happening right now. Involve yourselves in one of them. Have that group, surround yourself with that group of people who are also equally invested in making sort of change. And do it only if it's important to you. If it's something that it actually makes a difference to you. There's a lot of things that are happening right now. It's like it's easy to pick one and focus on that, give your focus to that, and then sort of improve as you sort of go along the way.
okay, perfect. So let's have a small rapid fire round.
Okay.
Okay. So using one word, how would you guys describe each other?
Good
Because
question.
you all make a good team, That's like, how would you describe?
Mother, you go first.
Okay. I think if I were to think of one word to describe Aishwarya, uh, I think she's very agile. Like for us, I think we've constantly been in situations where we have to think on our feet. And I think that way it's been great for us, for the partnership to have her like think of, okay, what next, and I think that kind of keeps us moving. So I think that's great.
Wow.
I think if I had to say that about Madhu, I think it would be somewhat similar in the sense that she has multiple sort of abilities in a way, you could say. She can sort of fit herself into different molds, because obviously we come from design backgrounds. We don't really know how to sort of plunge ourselves into a business. Initially, we didn't quite know that. Now we've learned in the process. So, but she was a lot more adept at sort of looking at, legal aspects and, sort of looking at setting up our website and things like that. So she has multiple sort of areas that she is sort of able to grasp really quickly.
And how do you all complement each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely we are like plus and minus in a lot of ways. We have a lot of different ideas that we sort of throw out at each other. We have like these long blown conversations where we're contradicting each other. So, but it's definitely a lot of fun that way because you end
So
up
how
having
does
like
it
really.
work? Like, when there are two people and there's contradicting things going on. So how does that go?
I think eventually the thing is, we may, when you start with that, when you present that idea in your head, you're just thinking about it like you're focused on that idea. But then maybe you're not looking at other aspects of it. And maybe in this case, Madhu, when she has her different opinion about it, it may open my eyes to a different view altogether. So that way, I think it's interesting when you have, this whole opposites sort of, you know, talking about the same problem maybe in our case. So that's definitely an interesting, you come out with like a completely interesting outcome.
Yeah, I think adding to that, because I think we have such opposite perspective at times. I think it also kind of helps us see how our customer might see it. For example, if I think a customer is going to look at it one way and she might think a customer is going to look at it in a completely different way, so that helps us see things from different perspective and see how we can still get the best to kind of work for like a much larger audience and appeal to like a larger group of people. So I think the problem also kind of becomes the positive part of the solution, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So who was your inspiration and role model?
Aishu, you go first.
Okay. So we have a lot of people who work in the sustainability field. We also know a few people who work in sustainable fashion. So I think like eco warriors, right? You could call them that. I think we know of a few people in Bangalore who work primarily on sustainability. I think I could take names, Sahar Mansoor, who's a part of their necessities. We know of a person called Mridula who works again just trying to sort of support sustainability and sort of spreading it to sort of people and making it easy for people to sort of take in um, sustainability into their daily lives. Yeah.
I think the conversation around sustainability is also increased a lot more. And one thing that we've noticed is, as young entrepreneurs who possibly don't have business backgrounds or don't have much of or hadn't had much of exposure to things, I think the entire sustainable community as such just welcomed us with open arms and and everybody's very supportive. And yes, there is competition, but there is also a huge urge to collaborate and co-create. And I think that is something that we've been very happy about, because I think that's kind of aided us in our growth. We have been lucky to meet a lot of people who have now become our network partners, who support us in our processes. So I think that is something that has worked out really well.
Okay. And so which luxury labels are setting the standards of ethical fashion?
That's a tough one because luxury could mean different things to different people. So while I could think of luxury as something that is uh, a nice to have, it's not like a must have. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if there are any specific labels that I could say this is the person who's doing it, but I think there are a lot of people right now who are doing different things really well. So I think it's like it's possibly like a bouquet of like nice things, but from like a whole bunch of different people. I don't think anybody's got it saying this is it, this is what's like best, and I'm setting the benchmark. And I think everybody is working towards getting better, and we've learned a lot of different things from a lot of different brands, and I think everybody is also in the same boat. So I think that's great that most brands that we've been looking at are in that journey and they are trying to do better. So I think the benchmark isn't one, but I think it's many.
Okay, so which accomplishments are you guys most proud of?
I would say surviving 2020 to begin with. We've seen how the year has been for a lot of brands, and I think we work in a certain model, or we have worked in a certain model from the beginning, where we collaborate with different people or experts in different fields to kind of get our product out. And I think that model, thankfully, because we were already doing it, it just made it so much more easier for us to continue doing that. Whereas we've seen a lot of really good brands struggle because they have a lot of overheads, and it kind of became a little bit difficult for people to shift suddenly onto like an online collaboration model. Like, how do you kind of get the word out? And I think we were already there, so I think that is, I would pat ourselves on the back for that, because I think we were kind of prepared for the worst case scenario to begin with.
Great. So this brings us to the end of our session. Um, we will like to take a few questions from our change makers now. If so, any change makers, any questions? Okay. So thank you for taking the time to answer these questions. It's been great speaking with y'all and learning more about sustainable journey. It was a pleasure to have y'all with us today. I'm sure our change makers have enjoyed this session and would like to congratulate you for working so diligently for a sustainable future. So thank
Thank
you once again, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having us. I think, like we said earlier, the conversation around sustainability is something that is very important. And I think that is how we are going to, make the change. So what you guys are doing is quite commendable. We were super impressed the first time we heard about you guys. So kudos to the whole team, and we're happy that we were part of this.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.